Boker Tov, good morning. Wonderful to be here with you together this morning, even with the strangeness in my backdrop. I'm sorry about that, but want to wish everyone a good morning, a Boker O, Boker Tov, and I hope your morning is off to a good start on this beautiful Friday morning, on this Erev Shabbat, leading into Saturday night, our Slichot program tomorrow night at 9 p.m. With its typical beautiful mixture of shul and stage, but also having more singing together this year than in the past. Really excited about it and hope that many of you are joining us at it. And it's wonderful to hear from you. Good morning, Fern and Lance and Eleanor and Annette and everyone who's with us this morning. Good morning to Sandra and each of you, to all of you, to those who are still joining us, to one and all, Boker Tov. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai, Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. And on this beautiful Friday morning, let's join together in the prayers of our people to have them help us find a place to begin this morning. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, uborah bo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chvodecha, she'im yipatech echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, אי-אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And let's join together in our prayer for the spirit. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And let's join together, Lasok b'divrei Torah, in these words of commitment to Torah learning and study. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Va'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu, v'fi amcha bet Yisrael, v'niyeh anachnu v'tze'etzaenu, וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers, Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness, Ashgamat bet midrash shacharit v'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening, Achnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger, Uvikul cholim, to visit the sick, Achnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms, Ulvayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead, Viyun tfilah, to pray with sincerity, V'hava'at shalom ben adam lechavero, to make peace when there is strife, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, especially at a time where things around us are challenging, it is so important at the same time to maintain our sense of gratitude, to be aware of the amazing and significant blessings in our lives, and to continue to hold fast to them and share those with those who are around us, especially those whom we love. So please join me in Baruch She'amar in Hebrew and English and Psalm 100, our prayer for gratitude. Baruch She'amar v'haya ha'olam. Blessed is the one who speaks that we might listen. Blessed is the one who acts that we might be witnesses. Baruch hu u'baruch shemo. Blessed is the one who decides that we might accept. Blessed is the one who has mercy, that we might live. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Blessed is the one who removes the darkness, that we might see. Blessed is the one who lives forever, that we might believe. Blessed is the one who saves and delivers, that we might be redeemed. Mizmor LeTodah, a psalm of gratitude. Let all the earth sing to the eternal, find joy in service of the sacred. May each word lead us to encounter the divine presence. May we sense the Holy One within us and in all creation, discover sacred purpose in every moment. The eternal is our infinitely capable creator. God forms our purpose and potential. Enter the gates with gratitude, bring praise and thanks, and bless the divine name. The divine love of the eternal allows us to find good in everything and strengthens the faith of each generation. And in that spirit, we join together in the words of Shema Yisrael, words of unity, words that hope that like God is one, unified and unique, so we might hold on to and move toward the unity that binds and strengthens humanity rather than using division and challenge to degrade our essential nature, a nature that is colored and surrounded and defined by the capacity to love. So please join me in reciting Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'vetecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shokpecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam la'ot al yedecha, v'yu letotafot ben enecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot betecha u'v'isharecha. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו. וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Well, it is a challenging week to search for truth or even the true meanings of activities or institutions' words. Number of words come to mind in those thoughts as I shared at Morning Minyan at Temple this morning. Let's see, untethered from reality, unhinged, unfair, unchanging in its deficits. All of these seem to be, to me this morning, the meaning of UN. While of course intended to be United Nations with a charter that talks about the path to peace being through respect for the character of different nations and the removal of violence against them. Here we are. In the fall, I can't help but focus on the UN because when it comes to time for Rosh Hashanah, for our holiday season to begin, we don't have our usual blessing. The Birkat HaChodesh, the blessing for the new month, is not recited for the month of Tishrei because, of course, we know that Rosh Hashanah is coming. But it's not merely that we have other signs that it's coming, the changing of the colors of the leaves of the trees and where we live, and the pageant, the painful pageantry of the United Nations, where based on such high principles, we see a parade of what is unchanging, of the failure of humanity to get beyond hatreds and difficulties and to develop. Of course, we can turn to the consistent anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism of the United Nations, but we don't really have to go that far. This week, President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine spoke to the United Nations General Assembly and did so right out of the Charter of the United Nations, that the war that his people have forced upon them by Russia for years now is exactly what the United Nations, in theory, was created to extinguish, to prevent. Unprovoked aggression by Russia against the people in the territory of Ukraine. President Zelensky laid out exactly what's happening, that there could be a Jewish president of Ukraine making such a case to the United Nations, who was in theory what the United Nations is all about. But what it's actually about is that Russia and China don't care, so it doesn't matter, that the suffering of people as their country is assaulted again and again is no matter. It is merely a political point. Just as the incredible aggression of the Iran-based allies against Israel, the terrorists of Hezbollah and Hamas, continue their aggression for a year now against Israel. And again, in the typical United Nations through the looking glass kind of a moment, Israel continues to be described as the aggressor, an absurd untruth in such a conflict. Of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu is speaking at the United Nations today. And while I used to think that this was one of the things that he is best at in his later political years, having given in to forces of the extreme right in Israel, he seems unable to read the room the way he once could. We'll see how his words echo. I think if he says it perfectly, many will not be listening anyhow. And that while his policies, his directions, and his failures of leadership are enormous, in no way, no matter what he says today, can his behavior make what Israel and the Jewish people worldwide have been experiencing in the last year. We are the victims, not the perpetrators, no matter what others have said who are untethered to the facts of our world. The United Nations has proven that it cannot live up to its charter, and in my opinion, it must be treated as so. But as I said as well at Minyan at Shul this morning, sadly, we don't have to go so far afield to see these kinds of failures. The field trip that took place, so to speak, last week, where children in public schools here in Toronto were taken to a political protest about water for First Nations, a particular First Nation. Again, valid, but still a violation of their policies against taking children to political events. And the result, of course, was a terrible anti-Semitic event where some children, at least a small number, were sent home with stickers on their clothes that said, "Zionism kills." Of course, our Prime Minister had said earlier this year that Zionism cannot be a curse word, and any Jew or anyone who supports it should be free at any time to present themselves safely in public as a Zionist, and yet he continues his silence, his inconsistency, his failure of leadership. Institution and individuals in former leadership have failed us. So in this new year, it is ours to be local leaders, to step forward and do what is real and right in our own circles. I've been leading an effort by the Reform rabbis to get our local school board here in Toronto to do what is real and right to protect Jewish students and their safety on October the 7th, on the anniversary of the horrific terrorist attack against Israel that continues to this day. Sadly, the response is what I expected rather than what I had hoped. At this time of year, we need something to do. Temple is getting together a group of volunteers who are going to call all of our families with school-aged children on October the 7th to check in with them and see how they're handling the day and make sure to provide them with any resources if they have any difficulty or challenge on that day in a public environment. If you're interested in helping, of course, we're going to provide a script and resources for any who make these brief calls on the afternoon of October the 7th between 5 and 7. And if you're on this and would like to, please just mention in the chat, either to the group or to me, that you'd like to participate in making these calls and making sure that that day is one where our community knows that we're thinking of each other and that the Sinai community is thinking of us. So please feel free to put your name to put in the chat that you'd like to help, because, as I said, this is a time for local leadership when more formal political institutions and leadership seem unable to do what they are charged with doing. Because of their inability, young people in Israel are still putting their lives on the line every day and fighting against a terrorist enemy for the basics of national security that every other nation and every nation on earth deserves. And so in their interest and with them in our hearts, we turn to these words of prayer for the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yivarech et chayalei tzva ha'agana liYisrael u'sha'ar meginei Amenu ha'omdim al mishmartam. Yishmorem HaKadosh Baruch Hu v'yatzilem mikol tzara v'tzukar mikol nego machala v'yishlach bracha b'chol ma'aseh yadayhem v'yikuyam behem ha'katuv v'chitatu charvotehem leitim v'chanitotehem lemazmerot לא יישאו גוי לגוי חרב, ולא ילמדון עוד מלחמה, וישבו איש תחת גפנו, ותחת תאנתו, ואין מחריד, ונאמר, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who defend our people. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury, and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree with none to make them afraid. And together we say, Amen. We continue with our prayer for those in need of strength and healing. Included in that are all those in our circle of friends and family who are ill or unwell or isolated, who are undergoing treatment or trying to make their way forward in later days in their life. For all of those names given to me and given to Temple, those names placed in the chat and this and other services, and especially for those who are forcibly isolated, the cruel victims of terrorists, the hostages and their families. For all of them, we turn to these words of refuah. Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah v'Rachel hu yivarech hu yorapeh et kol makotenu. Yiratzon milfenech Adonai Eloheinu lachalimam l'rapotam Vishlach lanu mehera refuah shlema v'ateret shalom v'nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. Well, it's very meaningful on a morning such as this to have the opportunity to connect and reflect. And likewise, we take time now this morning to remember, recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the period of Shloshim, the past 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Alan Gerskup, Joanna Sloan, Faye Kate, Anna Mae Silverman, Stan Albert. And it is our sad duty to report the death of our member, David Hirsch, husband of Donna, father of Dana, and father of Lisa Hirsch Wax, Alea Shalom. Funeral is being arranged through Benjamin's, looks like for Sunday. Additional information is available on the Benjamin's website. We also remember all victims of war and terror, including Adrian Marcello, Alex Lubnoff, Almog Salusi, Carmel Gat, Eden Yerushalmi, Hirsch Goldberg Poland, Ori Danino, Roni Shakuri, Yochanan Shpori, Yuri Birnbaum, Yochai Chai Glam, Agam Naim, Amit Bakori, Amit Friedman, Gary Gidon Hanchal, Dotan Shimon, Daniel Alush, Ori Ashkenazi Nehemiah, Tommy Shalom, David Moshe Ben Shitrit, Daniel Mimon Toaf, Nael Fausi, Tom Keren. And on yahrzeit, on this day, on the anniversary of their deaths, on this 24th day of Elul, the 27th of September, 2024, we honor the life and legacy on yahrzeit of Gershon Bloom, Helen Buckstein, Jack Irwin DeBow, Ben Gold, Hartley Jacobs, Yarny Jacobs, Sidney Harold Katz, Sammy Luffspring, Joseph Millstone, Norman Cernick, Doris Solomon, Ronald Sparaga, Patricia Sugar, Mitzi Weber. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope, the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash sheme rabah, ve'alma divrach yehuteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehe shme rabah mevorach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemed kudsha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'elma v'imru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shmaya v'chaim, alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'momav. Hu yaseh shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring strength and comfort to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Well, before the sounding of the shofar, Temple expresses gratitude that a contribution's been made to our security campaign by Nell Waldman, observing the yahrzeit for Patricia Sugar. And thank you, Annette, for putting your name in the chat to help with calls on October the 7th to make families feel supported. If anybody else wants to add their name to that list, again, you'll be provided a script and support in doing so and making a limited number of calls. Please let us know that you'd like to do that. Of course, Shabbat begins tonight. Join us on the services online at 6:30 tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Of course, tomorrow evening is our amazing Slichot service that is really going to be powerful this year. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Very excited about that event and about bringing everybody together for the holidays. And now we conclude as best we can with the sound of shofar. Thank you, Joni, for calling for it through the chat. Tekiah. Not an easy shofar to use. Boker